Ron, thank you very much. A rags to riches story on After Hours tonight. The kind of story we feast on this program, the kind of story that's made this program hockey's version of Oprah, the program where we make your dreams come true. How does that sound so far? This all applies to you, I think. 4 years ago, Alex Burrows was in the East Coast League and also playing for the World Ball Hockey Champions, and now he is a bona fide NHL player. So it's been nothing short of an incredible journey, which gives us lots to talk about. But first, let's address the game, and Mark's got the first question.
Well, first off, your job had the tough assignment tonight, going against Hemsky, Horkoff, and Nielsen. What did you guys do so well tonight, Alex?
Well, I think against those skilled players, we got to play them hard. I think we got to be responsible defensively. We got to keep a high third man and make sure that they don't get anything off the rush. Unfortunately, they scored one goal in the second there off the rush. We made a bad read, but I think we bounced back really well in the third, and Yannick got a big goal for us on our line.
Well, listen, Alex, before we go any further, how weird does it feel to sit here and be questioned by the guy who coached you your first year in the NHL? You played 43 games for Mark Crawford.
Well, at least he can yell at me here. Like, I remember back then he used to give it to me a bit.
What would he say?
Burr, get out there and make something out there. Burr, get that puck deep.
But it was all good, though. Like, he gave me my
That was good, but say it with a higher pitch. Do it again with a higher pitch and louder.
Burr, what were you thinking there?
It's the coach only dogs can hear.
It was all good, though.
All right, let's bring the fans in right away, shall we? Here's a question from Jeff in Vancouver.
Please do.
Alex, how does it feel to be so valued on this NHL team with the fact that you'll get a big pay raise next year? Jeff is referring to the fact that you're heading to unrestricted free agency.
Oh, but that's not what I'm thinking about right now. There's only 8 games in. I just want to help the team to win games, and the rest will take care of itself. I think my agent might talk to MJ about the contract, but I'm not really focusing on that. I just want to focus on playing well and helping the team to win games, and that's all I'm thinking about.
Okay, here's a question from PK in Burnaby. He wants to know, you're known as a player that opponents don't enjoy playing against. Which players do you dislike playing against?
I would have to say
Anybody on
probably
the opposition, I imagine.
Pierre-Marc Bouchard is probably the guy I don't like playing against. I've always been playing against him since junior, and for some reason I don't like playing against him, so that's probably the guy.
Mark.
Alex, you're not afraid to mix it up? Do you think Mike Gillis is going to have to pay you more for your fights or your goal scoring? Which one's it going to be?
Well, they always say goals are, you get more paycheck, a bigger paycheck when you score goals, but in the end of the day, I just want to help the team win games. I like Vancouver, I want to stay here, and the rest will take care of itself.
Absolutely.
You are not the first undrafted player to make it to the NHL out of the East Coast League. It has happened before, but you got to beat the odds to do it. So even now, 4 years into your NHL career that's highlighted by this kind of action, do you sometimes have to pinch yourself to realize that you're in the National Hockey League?
Oh, for sure. I think every day I can't take it for granted. I think I've worked really hard to come to the NHL, and I just want to stay here as long as I can. So every day I got to get better, and I can never be satisfied. I just want to improve every day, and if I do that, I'll probably stick here for
On that topic, there's a question that someone sent in. I'm going to see if I can find it here. Here am I working with the BlackBerry, and I got it. It's from Gary in Redmond, Washington. Actually, it's from Mark. You coached Alex for just over half a season in 06. That we've referred to that. Since that time, how much has he grown as a player since you coached him?
I think Alex has grown tremendously as a player. You can just see the confidence that Alex plays with now. He's so quick on pucks. He's got a very strong stick. And I think the combination of the knowledge now that when he gets the puck, he understands how to protect it. He understands how to utilize his wingers. And they've got a great line going out there right now with Ryan Kessler and Yannick Hansen. And maybe a follow-up question to that, Alex, is what has Yannick Hansen brought to this line? Because you and Kessler were successful last year. Now you've got a third guy on the line that's giving you a little bit of luster as well.
Well, he brings a lot of speed to the table. I think he's got that nick for the net too. He just throws puck on net, and he's able to score some big goals for us. So it's all about speed and getting on the forecheck and making sure we get some turnovers and we jump on them, and that's how we're going to generate more offense. And that's how Yannick really helps our line.
Let's talk about the journey, so we'll get some specifics of that. You played 2 seasons with Shawinigan, didn't go there until you were 18 years of age. That's in the Quebec League. Not drafted, so you go off to the East Coast League with the Greenville Growl, the well-known Greenville Growl, who trade you to the Baton Rouge Knights late... Kingfish, pardon me. The Kingfish.
You were
How can I get that
for
wrong?
a while.
in 02-03, and it's in Baton Rouge that you got your break. How did it happen?
Well, I wouldn't say I got my break there. I got there late in the year, and I think there was 15 games left, and the team was folding, and we weren't making the playoffs, so that wasn't really that exciting for me. But I think it was following year when I got a chance to play in Columbia with the Inferno there. I had good line mates with Tim Smith and Jesse Schultz there, and I was able to make a name for myself, and got lucky enough to get a few games in the AHL, and slowly, but finally made it up to the AHL the next year, the lockout year.
Well, see, it's unfortunate now. The show's going right off the rails because I got to tell you how you got the break. I got this from Craig Heisinger yesterday when I talked to him at some length. Cam Brown was coaching Baton Rouge. You remember that,
yep.
right? And he was a friend way back of Craig Heisinger. So you show up in Baton Rouge, and Cam Brown phones Zinger in Winnipeg and says, I got a kid you got to come down and have a look at. So he comes and has a look at you and signs you the next year. Have I got that part of it right?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Craig Heisinger does a great job for these Vancouver Canucks, too. He's responsible for bringing in not only Alex, he's also responsible for Rick Rippon, who played in Regina. He's a former trainer for the Winnipeg Jets, became assistant general manager under Randy Carlyle. He works tirelessly with Steve Tambellini and Dave Nonis when they were here, and now Mike Gillis, who's the general manager of this team. But Manitoba has done their job. They've uncovered some diamonds in the rough, like Alexander Burrows, and Zinger's a guy that's got just great contacts, and he and Mark Chipman down there, the owner of the Manitoba Moose, who also owns a car dealership, I'm told.
Okay.
They've done a great job of getting guys like this. And when you can get a player of Alex's caliber to come through your system and keep developing and be able to play in the National Hockey League, that is such gold for an organization.
Yeah, he's known in the hockey world as Zinger. Mark's right. He's got a great network of minor league contacts. He's a great judge of talent. But in your case, he might have been a little bit off because he told me when he signed you, he was really only hoping you'd become a good AHL player. When did you first start thinking, I got a shot at getting to the NHL?
I think the lockout year, I think we had a really strong team in Manitoba. The league was really strong. A lot of young NHL players were in that league back then, and coached by Randy Carlyle. He taught us a lot. I think he made us, the young guys, work extremely hard, and that's probably what really paid off. But we had some veteran players like Nolan Baumgartner and Lee Gorin, and even Ryan Kessler were there, and those were all players that played in the NHL the previous year. So just looking up at them, and I thought maybe if I keep working hard and playing with these guys, I'm able to play with these guys, and they played in the NHL, so I just have to keep working, and maybe one day will be my chance. And my second year, I finally got that chance.
Yeah, so just to finish off the journey, although it's not over yet, you had the 1 season, full season in Columbia, then a season and a half with the Moose. They call you up, and you didn't look back. In your year and a half with the Moose, you became good friends with Luc Bourdon, the highly touted #1 draft pick of the Canucks, who tragically lost his life in the motorcycle accident in New Brunswick in May. So you had to deal with his passing all summer, and then just over 2 weeks ago here, you had to get through that ceremony that the Canucks held, and a brilliant and wonderfully understated but emotional ceremony it was. You had to deal with that, and you did. And beyond that, you scored 2 goals on that night. How do you look back on that evening?
Oh, it was a special evening, that's for sure. I think Luke was probably one of my closest friends on the team last year, and our friendship was only growing, and the stuff we were supposed to spend a lot of time this summer. He was moving to Montreal, so we had probably worked out together and spent a lot of time together, and it was unfortunate what happened, but that evening was a special night, and for some reasons, those are the strange things in life sometimes. I get 2 goals, probably no one would have thought that. Louis gets a shutout, and so anyway, and we get a 6-0 wins against the Flames. So I think probably Luke was up there helping us out, and hopefully he'll be able to keep helping us out throughout the year.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say he'll be with you for the rest of the season and beyond, right?
Hopefully.
Okay. Alex Burrows, a great find for the Vancouver Canucks, an inspiration to ball hockey players the world over. And we'll talk about his ball hockey career when we come back. Our guest on After Hours. Back at GM Place as we continue with After Hours and our guest, Alex Burrows of the Vancouver Canucks. You know, it's easy to draft players like Sidney Crosby and Steven Stamkos. The real challenge is to find players like Alex Burrows in the East Coast Hockey League. And how many of those have honed their skills playing ball hockey? But you did. So tell us about your ball hockey career.
Well, started as a kid growing up. I think that's all I wanted to do. It was play hockey. And I remember coming back from school, we were going outside and play some ball hockey on the backyard and in the driveway. And I think we got a team together and in Montreal, and we heard about a Canadian championship one year. And
that's the team, right?
Yeah, Montreal Red Light. Yeah.
Can you name all those guys?
I could probably, but that was a lot of fun. I think so. That's the Montreal Red Light right there, and we're like the Quebec champions. So then once a summer there's the Canadian championship. So you gotta go to Calgary one year, the other year it's Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto, and so on. And we've won that 7 times in a row. And I was a part of that team for 6 straight years that won the championships. And there's teams from all over Canada. So it was a lot of fun.
I asked you when we were off on break if you thought there's anything that transfers from ball hockey into your hockey game now. Is there anything?
Oh, well, I think that was a good workout for me too. I would go to the gym, and at night I would play ball hockey or on weekends, and that was a really good cardio for me. I think you can't really glide out there, and you got to make sure that you're responsible. You got to run all over the place. So I think that was a good thing for me before training camp.
Do you trash talk in ball hockey as well? Some tough guys
not
in
as
that
much.
Quebec league.
Yeah, there's a lot of tough guys in that league, and there's not a lot of protection. So you got to make sure you're responsible for what you're doing out there, but you got to be careful.
Well, just before we get to the trash talking, because we want to bring that up in a second, but is it fair to say that you might still be playing ball hockey were it not for the fact that the guys in the opposing teams realized they were playing against an NHL player and were dedicating themselves to trying to take your head off?
Well, sometimes I think those guys, they want to have the good stories once they get back home. They don't really mind the 2-minute minor or the 5-minute major, so they just want to have a good stories for the boys, so that's probably why I quit. Okay,
you're an agitator, you're a disturber, and you take pride in getting under the skin of the other team's best players. How big a part of your game is trash talking?
A little bit, I would think. I think playing against the top lines every night, I got to get under their skin, and if they can focus on me, that's a good thing. And they're not focusing on scoring goals and making plays. They're thinking about me, and if I can be in their face and compete hard against those guys, I think I'm helping the team, and that's how we're going to win games.
Did you ever come back to the bench and have Mark or now Alain Vigneault say, Alex, just shut up out there?
No, never.
Jamais.
How is your singing career going?
Not very good.
Well, on that point, here's a piece of videotape for your consideration. Let's watch and listen. Alex, you were great here, despite the fact you had to read the lyrics. Where was this, and what was it all about?
I think that was a special evening. I think it was for the Special Olympics or one of those functions, a great night for the community. I think trying to raise money for the community, and I think the Canucks did a really good job about that. And that was one of the sketches we had to do, and I think me and Marc Chouinard and Danny Saverin, we got that song going, and we just tried to do our best to entertain the fans and the people that were at that evening, and I thought we did a pretty good job.
Were you happy that we dug that piece of videotape up?
Not really.
All right, we're almost out of time. I want to go right back to the start, the very beginning. Well, not quite the very beginning, but pretty close to it. We've got a couple of pictures of you here as a kid, and we're showing these because you can't lose with kid pictures, but take us through them. Should be here any second. Here they are. Well, now here they are. They're coming. How was the game tonight? Good?
Big third period for us. I thought we really responded well in the third.
There they are. All right.
Wow, that's a Pee-wee picture, I think. Was just loving the game. That's even younger. I think that's Atom maybe picture.
Yeah.
Well, that's me playing.
That's where it all started.
That was
right
my
there.
favorite game. I got a Christmas present.
And the haircut, not that I should ever be talking about
good.
haircuts, but it was nice.
Long hair. That was like...
Good looking tuxedo suit.
Ladies loved it.
Alex, thanks for your time. Great to have you in the program.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very
Congratulations,
much.
Alex.
Thank you.